let's talk a little bit more about the CoLab environment. So here is the environment that we just brought up. We've walked through execution of this example, but let's talk a bit more about the different options that you have for execution. You do have a status information about how much memory and disk space that you're using for your virtual machine, and you definitely want to make sure that you're staying within bounds there. Uh, let's look at the file system, and one can get to there from here. Um, we've already gone through the process of mounting our Google Drive. You can access it directly from here. Oh, actually, it's not happy right now. Um, let's first go to if you from here, if we go back up one level, this is the root directory for your virtual machine. So these are all of the files that get created on the fly as the virtual machine instance is created. Um, the mounting process that we went through up here, content drive, you can see there's this content directory right here, and this sample data, this is sample data that comes from Google CoLab itself. It's a pretty high level set of data sets that get used in lots of different examples. The result of this drive.mount operation here is that this folder appears here, and within this you have two subfolders. My drive refers to your Google Drive itself, and shared drives, if someone has shared a drive with you, you can also access it through this folder here. In our case, the way we've set things up, my drive is what we're using. Within my drive, if you've already gone through the process of setting up that shortcut, this MLP 2021 refers to the shared folder, which is different than a shared drive, the shared folder for this class. And that's what contains all of our data sets, our skeletons, and various other demonstrations. So when we actually double clicked on this demo right here to bring up this file. Okay, so we can actually make changes to the to this notebook. I could add some other import statement, or I could add some documentation, something along these lines. One can, once you've made changes to a cell that are meaningful in terms of code, that I did not do that here, but if I added an import statement, one has to make sure that you re-execute the cell in order to update the Python environment. But we can make changes to this notebook as is. So I clicked on the notebook itself, and then we start making changes. But these are just local changes and haven't actually been saved yet. So let's go through a process of saving. You can try to, from the file menu, you can try to save, but right now we're actually editing the copy, the shared copy that that we're providing. So we're not allowed to do that. But let's go ahead and let's see. Let's go over to Drive. So here's another perspective. This is the Google Drive that I'm actually demoing from. You can see that MLP 2021 shared link, and I have some other things in here. But let's go ahead and create a new folder for class. We'll call it MLP class, and then within that, let's create another folder. Okay. So now we've created that folder, and if we head back to our example, which is hiding here somewhere, there we go. Um, if we look at my drive, I don't know if it shows up immediately. There it is. So MLP class we just created, and examples we just created. So let's try and save this now uh, to our drive. Save a copy in drive. So we're creating a copy, and it shows up in, I'm not sure in what location. CoLab probably is putting it into a default CoLab drive. Yeah, there we go. We can locate that in drive. Yeah, so within my drive, it's created a CoLab notebook. Um, we can also put that into the into the folder that we just created for the class itself. So let me pop back to here, and we can move it. So it's within CoLab notebooks. Let's put it in MLP class and examples, and select. And it probably makes sense for us to no longer have copy of as part of our name here. Okay, so once we save that, then if we go back to the shared drive, you can see that that notebook now is sitting within MLP class examples. So this is how you're generally going to be manipulating your files within CoLab. At this point, this is persistent. It is yours. Nobody else can access it unless you're explicitly sharing, which for homework assignments you should not be. Okay, so let's go back to our interface here. Notice that we have two different instances of the interface. These are now two different virtual machines that are running, that have the same code sitting in them. This happens to be a local unsaved copy that was derived from our from our opening of the shared file in MLP 2021, and this corresponds to uh, our local copy. Um, so keep an eye on that as well. Within the file menu, there are a variety of different things that you can that you can do, including creating new notebooks. And every time you create a new notebook, it will create a new instance of a virtual machine to back that notebook. A couple of other options. Um, I have not used revision histories in this context, but you can download uh, uh, in terms of a proper Jupyter notebook or as a Python file. I have not gone down this particular path, but it might actually be a useful tool. And so when you go to turn in homework assignments, you're going to be turning in the IPYNB file, and you're also going to be generating a PDF file through the print menu here. Within the Jupyter Notebook, cells are of one of two types. One is that they include code, and code can include comments, and so the pound sign is a comment symbol from within Python. Uh, there is also you can also have text information as well, and in particular, this is actually done in a language called Markdown. If I double click on this, you can actually see this is the raw text that gets used, that actually you type in, and then it gets rendered in this way here. So having a pound sign in this context means I have a header. 3 pound signs means a third level header. So that gave me still a big font, but not quite as big as the header. And the splat or the star is an indication that we have a list element. So that's what is generating this line here. You can execute this as well, and it will show you the it will just show you the rendered text. But what's nice about the way CoLab is doing things is that as you are typing the text code here, it actually shows you in real time what that actually looks like. In general, documentation is a good thing. Both this very high level kinds of documentation as well as the inline documentation. And we'll talk more about that as we go through the semester. You are able to move cells up and down. If I say I wanted to swap these two cells in the file, I can click on this cell and move it upwards, and you can see now it's on the top. Of course, logically, in this case, it doesn't really make sense to do this because we're relying on this import. So I'm going to put that back. I'm not sure what link refers to. I don't know what link to cell means. That's something to play with. You can, in addition to manipulating cells in this way, you can also add more another code or text cell. If you click in between two cells, you can also get at that through the insert menu. Runtime, I don't find it particularly useful in this context. Run all just means we're running all of the cells. If I have a particular cell selected, run before means execute all of the cells before this one. This means execute the one that we've selected. And I'm not sure what the distinction is between those two. And run after means execute all the cells after the one that I have currently selected. But again, typically when I'm using this type of an interface, I'm making some changes to a cell and then executing it immediately. Tools is not something that I tend to work with. So we've hit really the key elements here. There is also a commenting interface, much like the rest of Google Drive. Again, that's something that we're not going to be making heavy use of here. Okay, so that is the really quick introduction to this interface, and we'll spend the next few videos talking more details about what these cells mean and what kinds of operations we can do, and in particular, we want to get you all up and running in the Python context.